Hi guys, Friday saw the parliamentary seat of Rutherglen and Hamilton West switch from the SNP to Labour in a massive swing away from the incumbent. There was also the added victory for Starmer's party, seeing the Tories lose their deposit. Huw Merriman, the Tory minister, was interviewed about this on Sky News, where he spoke both truth and spin when this fact was presented to him. Merriman tried to dismiss any connection between the by-election result and any emulation in the general. Have a listen to this.
And a very good morning to you, Huw Merriman. Thanks for talking to us. So, huge win for Labour in this by-election with a swing of 20%, 20.4% from the SNP. The Tories lost their deposit. Just how disappointing is that for you?
Well, obviously, the challenger was the Labour Party, Labour candidate. Labour held this seat in 2017, lost it to the SNP in 2019. So they've won it back, and there's widespread dissatisfaction with the SNP Scottish Government. So it's no surprise to see all of those that disagree with the SNP crowding around one particular candidate, and that candidate has succeeded. So that's how by-elections work. We know that. We see it all the time.
Now, he's hinting here at potential tactical voting, that the Labour candidate and the Tory candidate sat down together and worked out, okay, look, one of us has a chance of winning, the other doesn't. If we want to keep the SNP out, if we want to kick the SNP out, we need to work together. Now, this has happened before. This is not something new. And it's shocking for people in England to hear this. The Tories and the Labour Party working together. How is that possible? Well, it happens all the time, normally on a local level, but sometimes on a national level in Scotland. You want to get the SNP out, then we need to work together. Now, I don't know if this has actually happened here. It's possible that there has been a massive swing away from the SNP. If that's the case, then they should be extremely worried. But it does sound like this is tactical voting. The fact that the Tories lost their deposit, if it wasn't down to tactical voting, they should be extremely worried. If it is, well, then that's okay. That goes with the territory.
Also, Keir Starmer has called it a seismic moment. Success in Scotland gives him a much better chance of getting into Downing Street, doesn't it? This bodes well for him, doesn't it?
Well, I think we just need to put it into context. That's his second MP, and they used to have a lot more in 2017. So that's a matter for him to comment. He's succeeded. You tend to see in by-elections all of those that are opposed to the governing party, and that's the SNP, who are clearly very unpopular, crowding around the party most likely to succeed. And that's occurred, and that's by-elections for you. We see it all the time.
Does it give you some cause for concern, though, come a general election?
Look, our focus is on governing for the whole of the United Kingdom, and that's why you saw the Prime Minister set out his pitch in terms of change and reform, and that's what we'll be focusing on. By-election results, are always of interest, of course, and we focus on every single vote, but what we're really focused on is winning the next general election and governing right now, so that we've got that platform to demonstrate to the people in the United Kingdom that they should vote Conservative when it comes to a general election, rather than focusing on just individual by-elections.
Okay, so it's okay to say that in Scotland, well, people were just upset with the SNP government, and that's why they gave them a bloody nose. But when it comes to the general election, no, we can't compare that. People would vote for the Tories because they love the Tories. No, I keep saying elections are referendums on the incumbent. This is how it always is. You can apply this to the United States, you can apply this to the United Kingdom. It doesn't make any difference. People will vote either because they're happy with the status quo, or they'll vote against the status quo. So it's going to happen in the general election as well. The Tories are going to, it seems at the moment, receive a bloody nose. They're going to be kicked out, unless something weird happens. But they're likely to lose a massive amount of seats because people are tired of them. You can't say, well, the reason the SNP lost here is because people are tired of the SNP. But it's not going to happen to us in Westminster. Yes, it will. Huw Merriman knows this. Okay, he's just trying to spin it. We're now the candidates of change. Rishi Sunak is the Prime Minister of change. No, he's not. You can try and convince people of that, but people will vote on the current issues. They'll vote, are they happy with the status quo? Are they happy with the cost of living crisis? Are they happy with crumbling NHS? Are they happy with all these problems? Obviously, they're going to vote on those things. You can try and inject other things like the culture wars or whatever, but I don't see it succeeding. Now, this is extremely concerning for the SNP, because if people are not happy with what the SNP are doing, they're going to vote against them. We can talk about, whether it's the right thing or not, but it doesn't make any difference. The average voter doesn't care about policies, doesn't care about a lot of things. They care about what's happening to me now. Are the people in power making my life better or worse? It doesn't matter if the SNP doesn't have all the levers of power. It doesn't matter if they're fighting against Westminster. For the average voter, they don't understand this. I'm not trying to be condescending. It's just the reality. People need to be educated about politics. People need to understand the difference between power in Westminster and power in Scotland and Northern Ireland and Wales. They're completely different systems. Now, it's possible, as I said at the beginning, that there was tactical voting in favour of the Labour Party in this particular by-election. This won't be emulated in the general. It's just too difficult to organise. We talked about it before in 2019. Maybe to keep the Tories out, there would be tactical voting, but it didn't come to pass. It's extremely difficult to organise, and especially if the Prime Minister calls a snap election, it's even more difficult to organise some sort of tactical voting against the Tories. We would like to see that, of course. It's better for the people of Britain to get the Tories out by whatever means necessary, but I don't see that happening. But it is interesting that a Tory minister is saying, yes, the reason the people of Scotland voted this way is because they hate the SNP government, but don't worry, it's not going to happen to us in the general. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.